Watch list circuit continues for college football. And you know what? There were two more today, and a couple of LSU Tigers are on them. And I wanted to talk about each in particular. One is the Hornig Award, and we found out that Derek Stingley Jr. is on the Hornig Award, which Odell Beckham won back in 2013. Goes to the most versatile player in college football. So that's cool. I'll talk a little bit more about Stingley in this. Well, real quick. So Stingley's on the Hornig Award watch list, and good for him. He deserves it. I mean, he was the best defensive back in all of college football last year, and then also was returning punts and is super versatile and deserves to be on this list. But I hope like hell he doesn't win that award because I don't want Derek Stingley playing offense or returning punts. To win this award, you've got to be versatile and do many things. I don't want Derek Stingley doing that. I want Derek Stingley being the best cornerback in college football and letting other players with fresh legs take care of the other things. When you have so many offensive weapons that you're trying to figure out, like I had someone ask me this morning, Matt, I hear you talk about Trey Palmer. How are they going to get him involved? I don't know. I know they're excited about him, but when you think of Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall and Racey McMath, and then, those three right there, and then, of course, you've got other guys that have waited their turn, and then you have this class coming in as well of receivers. It's like, you only got one ball. How do you distribute it? I don't know. I don't want to really worry about trying to find touches on offense for Derek Stingley or in the punt game. I don't want to make him vulnerable to a big hit or something that can knock him out doing something that he's not there to do, which is be the best defensive back in college football. So I want Derek Stingley to win the Thorpe. Want it like everything for him, but I don't want him winning the Hornig Award at all because I don't want to see Derek Stingley do all those things selfishly because I want to see Derek Stingley do what he does best, which is go be the best defensive back in college football. Listen, if Derek Stingley were a receiver, he could probably be the best receiver in college football, but that's not his role in this team. The other one today, and I'm really, really pulling for Jacoby Stevens this year. Jacoby Stevens, we found out, is on the Wuerffel Trophy Watch List. If you're not familiar, it's named after Danny Wuerffel. The first one was handed out in 2005, and actually former Tiger Rudy Neiswanger won it. But this is the award that combines on-field performance and community service. So it's a good guy award. You got to be a good player and a good guy to win this one. And Jacoby's done a bunch. A few months back, he was one of the ones that sort of spearheaded that register to vote campaign where the whole team registered to vote. He's also volunteered at Strongman Academy in Baton Rouge, which is it's a middle school for at-risk kids just north of LSU's campus, and a lot of former LSU athletes have made their way through that program to help students at that school for a lot of years. So great to see Jacoby Stevens do that. He also was filling sandbags before Tropical Storm Cristobal this past spring. He's been a great community leader, and he's been a great Tiger as well. And I really hope for this season that for Jacoby Stevens, it ends up being one of the best stories of 2020. And when you think about his journey, like Stevens has been through a pretty remarkable one. I mean, if you remember, Jacoby Stevens showed up on LSU's campus when he was recruited as the number 1 safety in America when he's coming out of Memphis, and he was the number 18 overall prospect in the country when he signed in 2017. But he signed in a class that also included, of course, Grant Delpit and Todd Harris. And Todd Harris ended up, really wowing early, and Grant Delpit became an All-American. And Stevens kind of got lost in the shuffle. And as a freshman, if you remember, Jacoby Stevens ended up playing receiver in 2017. And then in 2018 decided he wanted to focus on defense, flipped back over there, but was more of a backup in 2018. And then last year happened, and he finally got his opportunity to be a starter on a national championship team. And now he's the leading returning tackler. He had 92 tackles last year. He had 9 tackles for loss. He had 5 sacks on the season. Helped pace LSU, was a super versatile player, had the big interception, the highlight interception against Mississippi State, and had the big hit on the receiver against Clemson. That's been turned into a gift that everybody's seen a million times. He really started to blossom. He had a decision to make. Was he going to go pro, or was he going to come back to LSU for his senior year? And ultimately, he did something that has been atypical for guys like Jacoby Stevens in the climate of college football, where if you're a big-time player and you have a chance to go make your money, guys leave and go make their money. But not Jacoby Stevens. He decided he was going to come back after winning a national championship to see what he could do for his senior year. And so far, preseason All-SEC, he's on the Thorpe watch list. He's on the Nagurski watch list. He's on the Wuerffel watch list. We shared a mock draft with you yesterday from Bleacher Report where he's a first-round pick in their mock draft, and you're starting to see a lot of these instances where Stevens is seeing his name on a lot of mock drafts. I was thinking today about some great senior stories, where guys who are great players who decided to come back for their senior year, and it worked out really well. The most obvious one, I think, is Glenn Dorsey. And that 07 team had a lot of seniors. Hester obviously was a senior on that team, and Matt Flynn was a senior who waited his turn. But this is a little bit different when you're talking about a guy who could have gone pro and decided to come back. That's what Dorsey did in 07. He was an All-American in 06. He could have gone pro. He decides to come back. He has an All-American season. He sweeps all the national awards. He wins a national championship and still ends up being the 5th overall pick in that draft. I don't know that Jacoby Stevens is going to end up being the 5th pick in the draft, but I would love to see him have a monster year. Another 90, 100 tackle season, be an All-SEC, All-America candidate, maybe snag one of these national awards and be a first-round pick. I would love to see guys who stick around, who wait their turn, who are patient, who are good community partners, community leaders on their team and in their community. I'd love to see them rewarded. And here's hoping for Jacoby Stevens that this senior year for him, even amid all the questions with COVID, ends up going swimmingly and he's rewarded for his patience and his hard work. So I was glad to see that for Jacoby. I was glad to see him on the Nagurski and the Thorpe watch list as well, and today the Wuerffel watch list. So lots of Tigers. Millie, whenever you're talking about a roster as talent-laden as LSU, you're going to be up for a lot of these national awards. And there's been an LSU player on virtually every one of them, including yesterday we found out that Cade York's on the Groza Award watch list, and Zach Von Rosenberg is on the Ray Guy Award watch list for the best place kicker and punter, respectively, in college football. So lots of talent. You can understand why a lot of people are high on this team. Now we just got to figure out if they're going to kick off on time, how many games they're going to play, how that's all going to look, and get to it, get to defending the title. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.